You have no ideas of your own, and could not possibly have a desire that came from other than me. For I am all there is. Therefore all desires are good, and when thus understood unfailingly, come into speedy and complete fulfillment. You may wrongly interpret my desires, my urges from within, and seek to use them for your own selfish purpose. But even while permitting this, they still fulfill my purpose. For it is only by letting you misuse my gifts, and by the suffering such misuse brings, that I can make you into the clean and selfless channel I require for the perfect expression of my ideals. We have, then, first the ideal in the mind, then the desire to bring the ideal into outer manifestation. So much for the relation, now for the process of realization. In accordance with the definiteness with which the picture of the ideal is held in the mind, and the extent to which the ideal possesses the personality, does its creative power, impelled by desire, proceed with its work. This it does by compelling the mortal mind to think out or to image in, or in other words, to build mental forms into which I can pour, as into a vacuum, the impersonal, elemental, vital substance of the ideal. When the word is spoken either silently or audibly, consciously or unconsciously, this substance at once begins to materialize itself by first directing and controlling the consciousness and all the activities of both mind and body, and of all minds and all bodies connected with or related to the ideal. For remember, all consciousness and all minds and all bodies are mine, and are not separated but are one, and wholly impersonal. And then so attracting, directing, shaping, and molding conditions, things, and events that sooner or later the ideal actually comes forth into definite, tangible manifestation. So it is that everything, every condition, every event that ever transpired was first an ideal in the mind. It was by desiring, by thinking, and by speaking forth the word that these ideas came into visible manifestation. Think this out and prove it for yourself. This you can do, if you will, by taking any ideal that comes and following it out through the above process to realization, or by tracing back any feat you have accomplished and picture you have painted, any machine you have invented, or any particular thing or condition now existing, to the ideal from which it sprang. This is the plan and process of all true thinking, and therefore of all creation. Listen, you have now and always have had, through this power of thinking, dominion over all the kingdoms of the earth. If you but know it, you have now, this moment, only to think and speak the word, realizing your power, and that I, God, your omnipotent, omnipresent, omnipotent self, will bring about the results, and the waiting consciousness of the invisible cells of all matter upon which your will and attention become focused, which waiting consciousness is my consciousness, remember, will begin immediately to obey and do exactly according to the image or plans you have prepared by your thinking. For all things are made by the Word, and without the Word was not anything made that was made. When you can once realize this and can know that I am consciousness within you is one with the consciousness of all animate and inanimate matter, and that its will is one ideal, which is eternally expressing itself impersonally through you. But it is first wholly necessary that you learn how to think, how to know your thoughts, those directed by me, from the thoughts of others, how to trace thoughts back to their source, and to banish undesirable ones at will from your consciousness, and finally, how to control and utilize your desires so they will always serve you instead of your being a slave to them. You have within you all possibilities, for I am there. My ideal must express, and it must express through you. It will express itself perfectly if you but let it. If you will only still your human mind, put aside all personal ideals, beliefs, and opinions, and let it flow forth. All you need to do is to turn within to me, and let me direct your thinking and your desires. Let me express whatever I will, you personally accepting and doing what I desire you to do. Then will your desires come true, your life become one grand harmony, your world a heaven, and yourself one with myself. When you have begun to realize this and have glimpsed somewhat of its inner meaning, then you will be ready to grasp the real import of what follows. Next chapter, the Word. We will now take the key and show you how the plan and process just described is the one by which the world came into existence, how the earth and all that is in it and on it, including yourself and your brothers and sisters, are but the outer manifestations of an ideal, my ideal, which is now being thought into life expression. I, the Creator, am the original thinker, the one and only thinker. First know that, as previously stated, man does not think. It is I who think through his organism. Man believes he thinks, but before he has awakened to a realization of me within, he only takes the thoughts I attract to or inspire in his mind, and, mistaking their real meaning and purpose, places a personal construction upon them, and through the selfish desires thus aroused, creates for himself all his troubles and brings upon himself all his woes. These apparent mistakes, misconstructions, and interferences of man are in reality only the obstacles in his way to be overcome, that he may, through the overcoming, finally develop a body and mind strong and clean and capable enough to express perfectly and consciously this ideal of mine eternally working within his soul. Man, then, is only the organism I am thus preparing through which to manifest the perfection of my ideal. He provides the personality with its body, mind, and intellect, through which I can express this ideal perfectly, the physical brain with which I can think and speak it into outer manifestation. I plant in man's brain an ideal, any ideal. That ideal would grow, mature, and speedily ripen into complete outer fruition or manifestation, if man only would let it, would give his mind and all his thoughts, his heart and all his desires wholly over to me, and let me come forth as the perfect fulfillment of that ideal. I will now plant in your brain mind an ideal. May it grow, mature, and ripen into the glorious harvest of wisdom which is awaiting you, if you let me direct its growth and expression through you. In one of my other revelations, called the Bible, you are told much about the Word, but very few, even the most learned Bible students, comprehend my meaning. You are told that in the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God, and the Word was God. The same was in the beginning with God. All things were made by him, by the Word, and without him, the Word, was not anything made that was made. You shall learn herein how my Word was in the beginning, how it was me, and how it was I myself, how all things were made by me and by my Word, and that without me and my Word was nothing made that now exists. Now, a word to the human understanding is a symbol of an ideal. That is, it stands for, embodies, and represents an ideal. You are a word, a symbol of an ideal. If you can see it, so is a diamond, a violet, a horse. When you can discern the ideal back of the symbol, then you know the soul or the reality of the manifestation appearing as a man, a diamond, a horse, a violet. Hence, a word, as used in the above quotation, means an ideal latent and unmanifest, however, waiting to be expressed, or thought and spoken forth in some form or another.